In a world where the unknown whispers in the dark, where shadows move and questions remain unanswered, tonight we step beyond the veil. Welcome to Journey through the EGH Talk Show, where the paranormal meets the unexplained and the truth is never far away. From ghostly encounters to UFO sightings to the mysteries that keep us awake at night. You're not just watching, you're part of the investigation. So dim the lights, open your mind, and prepare to question everything you thought you knew. This is your journey into the unknown.
Hello there, guys, and welcome to Journey Through the EGH Talk Show, live and exclusive on all platforms. I am praying that we are live and exclusive somewhere. Where that is, I don't know. So that's all I'm going to ask. We have got 5 viewers. So where you are watching us, let's see. Put it in the chat. Welcome, everybody. Now, for the first time, I'm going to ask, and we might be able to hear them, and fingers crossed, let's go for it. Mr. Paranormal Paul, are you there?
Hello, good evening. Yes, I am.
Well, let's just say, I'm hoping that people will be able to hear us. Mr. Psychic Sai, are you there?
Yes, I'm here and ready to go.
That is good. It's saying we've got 5 viewers. Where we've got them 5 viewers, I have not got a clue. So we could be potentially live on Facebook, because I've got someone saying, good evening, guys, on Facebook. So we know we're live on Facebook. So we could be wherever we are. Who knows, eh? Who knows where we are? But you know what? Let's do it. Welcome, everybody. Look, people say, I can hear you now. They can hear you on the YouTube.
Brilliant.
So, yes, we've got everything in the... It's taken a while. But as you saw last Friday, we were still working. Because we were doing loads of test shows last Friday just to make sure that we can hear everybody. I'm hoping they can hear me, because I haven't got my monitor on, so I'm just hearing myself talk but not back on myself, which I suppose that's how it was. Good. I'm liking the opening. Unfortunately, Paul and Sai won't see the opening until they look back at the video, but yeah, they've seen it pre-ambled, so we've got another little surprise for you later on in the show as well. So just keep watching, guys. Just keep watching. As I normally do, welcome everybody. Thank you for everyone that's joined in. We are live. It's the 23rd of April. Where else would you want to be on a Thursday night? It's a great time to be alive on a Thursday night in the middle of Essex, isn't it? That's where we're coming from. We've got Heidi in the chat. We've got Maz in the chat. We've got Lee in the chat. We've got Stuart that is watching also on YouTube. So we're definitely getting the people coming in. So that is good. What it's all about. Is all I'm going to ask. If there is anybody on TikTok that can check we're live on TikTok, that would be the best, because I don't know if we are. But hey ho, that's how it goes. I've got these silly headphones on, which is driving me insane. But if I don't, I'm not going to hear anything. So quite easy for me to say, Mr. Paranormal Paul, how was your week?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. I'm getting there now. I'm liking the sunshine. It's been a bit windy, but hay fever's kicking in, but I'd still rather that with a bit of sun. Before
I even forget to ask you, Paul, on my way home from work, I drive your way out, past your house and out onto the... Did you see that big ball, the smoke coming from somewhere? There's a big fire somewhere, and I mean, when I come on a... Sorry, Si. I'll get to you in a minute, Si.
No, it's fine.
But I saw the plume of smoke coming up onto the A13 at Ferry Lane. People won't know that, but and you saw it massively high, and I thought, oh, that's near up my end. But when I sort of was driving down and you saw the stream of smoke making its way along the long way along the Thames, and I'm saying it was going down to at least sort of probably Limehouse and things like that. So it was definitely something going on. And when I got to the M25 and the A13, you sort of go over the M25. As I looked, it was virtually directly linked with the bridge. Underneath the bridge, on the port, there's a port there, isn't there? The dockyard. It could have been somewhere around there. So I hope everybody involved, it's nothing too serious around there. But no, I wonder if you saw it on your way home. But
No, wasn't it? Well, no, I didn't see it.
No, that's all right. So, right, Mr. Psychic Si, how have you been?
Yeah, good. All good, thanks. It's been pretty busy, but
well, it was touch and go. You was going to get on tonight, but it's nice to see your ugly mug. Where with the show?
I couldn't leave it without a rant this week, could I?
Oh, well, have we got a rant? He's got a rant. He's got a rant.
I've got a couple of rants.
I need a little jingle for Si's rants, don't I?
Yeah.
I do need a little jingle for Si's rants. Come on then, Si. Give us.
What was today?
Oh, St. George's Day.
Yeah, and do you know where I've been today?
Yes.
St. George's. They won freaking English flag. Isn't that funny? Isn't that really funny?
Yeah, but unfortunately, that's the world that we live in.
Yes, I know.
You know. But hopefully things will change. Hopefully things will change.
It's gone too far to change, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
It has gone too far to change. I would be becoming a minority, but then that's another show.
Exactly. Yeah, we have to be very careful, don't we, nowadays, because freedom of speech doesn't exist,
Yes,
does it?
and I'm not. That's why I haven't really put it in the way I put it. I just didn't see a St. George's flag up, which was pretty disappointing.
No, it's
coming out of Essex, I did, but
well, to be fair, I did see a video of a couple of people outside Whitechapel Station today with their England. I did, honestly. I knew what they were doing. They were trying to prove a point, and not necessarily incite hate. That's not what it was all
perhaps
about.
It was the emergency that took the doctors away for a little while.
No. It was. I think it was a TikTok video of a guy doing what he wanted to. He was trying to prove a point, just like and yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day, isn't it? So.
And secondly, it probably is. It's actually it's not a rant. It's more of a question.
Go for it.
NASA spends all this money supposedly sending a craft around the moon, right? And yet we can't explore our oceans. Do you know what? Something just really doesn't add up in my mind here, because all them billions and billions that are spent up there, or do we know what's already going on down there? That's why we don't explore them. But that's a question.
Isn't it apparently, is it this week or next week, we're meant to have another disclosure? I've been listening to podcasts at work, mainly Joe Rogan and some of these guests on there, and they mentioned that there's I'm pretty sure it's this week. So I'm assuming it'll be tomorrow now, because I haven't heard nothing. We're meant to have a big disclosure event again.
I was just about to say, can you put again at the end of that?
Yeah, and it was only in my mind because the last time I was in the shop, I had a lady in, and she was actually talking about what lies at the bottom of our oceans. And fair point. Actually, she's got a real point with sending all them people up there, supposedly sending all those people up there, but there's nothing being done down there. Now, if we can get people, if we've got the technology to get people through what it's meant to be going through and all that heat, then I can't see why we can't get something to get down to the bottom. I understand the air pressures and all that, but surely we would have thought of something by now. All the technology, with all the robots we've got to put down there, surely, come on.
But let's just say something, though. I will say something, and please don't think I'm defending, but there has been a massive, massive cut to NASA's expenditure, even though it's not a blink in the ocean.
Oh,
To what? But yeah, exactly. And I'm not saying that justifies anything that we're trying to talk about, because it doesn't. But I think it opens up where we are going. In my eyes, I generally feel that it's opening up something that.
See, I think they already know what's down there, and that's why it's not being explored. I think they already know.
Oh, I'm with you on that one.
Sorry, Simon.
I think they already know what's down at the bottom of our
Yeah,
oceans,
yeah, I think.
and that's why they're not going there.
Just quickly, what do you make of these scientists that have
I've
all
just
come up dead?
Right, look, guys, we're gonna stop that chat just for a minute, right? We'll go to that for a minute, all right? Because we'll make sure we touch on this in a minute, all right? But I got to try and keep on topic, because obviously the name of the show that's gone out is a look back over last week. So let's tick that box off first,
Yes,
all right?
yes.
Okay, let's tick that box off first, all right? Because it shouldn't take too long, because I'm the only one here to talk about what happened at Old Library in Erith. Jason Fitzgerald has joined us. Evening. I do believe Jason was at the event as well. So, you know, please feel anyone who's watching, please make sure who was at the event. Please put your comments in, and I will see them and read them out. Stuart has put, freedom of speech doesn't exist. It's the consequences that you have to put with it. You can say what you like, but if it creates aggression, it has to be contracted. Or I think that says counterreacted. All right. So, yeah. Right. Let's crack on, and then we'll get back to what we want to talk about. All right. Then I can slash it in the recording so people can watch again and listen up. Right. So we was at Old Library in Erith on the weekend. Was it the 19th or 18th? I think it was the 18th of April. So we were just going to do a little quick look back at that and then go from there. Please, if any team members are watching and want to put their little bit to it, please just put it in the chat or send it through to me privately or stick it on the WhatsApp group and I will read it out for you. So I will start off. I do believe I had Jason's group first in the middle floor. There was 3 floors of Old Library Erith. There was the bottom floor.
Was it a library, Russ?
No, it wasn't. It was a library. Then it all got ripped out. I think around the 90s. And then it got put back to like a cultural centre, a community centre. And to be fair, how they've made it look from going into disrepair. Like the building was opened in around about 1901, around the early 1900s. And the gentleman wanted to build a library for the community. He wanted a community feel. He wanted a community hub. So that's what he did. And so it's 3 floors. Very, like the middle floor would have been the main area of the whole place where the library would have been. And it would have been grand. High ceilings. It was just really, you felt it. When you walked into that main corridor, you just felt it. It was lovely. So I got to do that room first. And for some strange reason, there was about 2 rooms off of the main room. Now it's like a community where you can do gardening. They do pottery, artwork. I think you can hire the rooms out and things like that. There's someone from, what's the famous garden show? Every year.
Garden?
Flower show.
The Chelsea Flower Show. That's it. There's a lady from the Chelsea Flower Show that looks after the gardens there. So she looks after the gardens. So that's, and it's a very high, it looked beautiful. Very grand when you got to the door. So we got in, my first group, and we picked up on a story. We was using pushing and pull tactics of the guests. Jason was one of the guests that I got spirit to move him backwards and forwards. I believe one of our guests who come sort of on and off regularly, Stephanie's mum, Paul, you know Steph, Steph's mum. Yeah. Well, honestly, I had never in a million years seen a face that stared me down and wanted to kill me. She didn't really know at first what was happening, but she sat there on the table. We all sat around the table, apart from Steph, who stood up, and Henry stood up by the doorway. And Steph went to sort of the side and put her hand on it and stood very oddly. But Steph's mum sat there like this. And everywhere I moved, just her eyes, you know, like the paintings or the dolls follow you. But you could see her eye. And everyone started to notice it. Everyone was saying it's like daggers. And it felt like daggers were killing, like going to absolutely kill me. And then she said, I feel really angry. Like, I feel you've got to shut up. And we was getting to a story and, it, you know, the K2s were going off every time we would get to somewhere. And it got to a point where the K2s went off when Steph's mum spoke. So I don't know Steph's mum's name, so I do apologise. She'll just have to be called Steph's mum, Jo. And everything we were saying, Jane, who's hopefully is still watching, was using her pendulum as well. And every time I was getting something right, I said, Jane, is that what you're getting? And she was going, yes, absolutely. The pendulum saying yes or no. And really, the story we got was that, now this was the weird, strange bit about it. This was a lady, like Jo, Steph's mum, was called in. You know, back in this time, this wasn't a thing that would have happened. It would have always been a male doing this sort of work. But she was like a troubleshooter. And she was where Jason was, who Jason had, I can't remember the names, Alice, I think it was, or something like that. But we had this lady didn't or couldn't afford to pay her bill for a flower shop or in a local area. And there was another guy who come in with Tia's other half. What, I don't know his name. You know Tia.
Yeah.
Very half. And he had a male that was aggressive, angry, that just wanted his money from. But this woman who was with Jo just wasn't allow it. She was like a lawyer, but wasn't a lawyer. She was representing the females. She was. It was about the night Jane's put 19. The 1920s, wasn't it? And we got the name Jenkins. Her second name was Jenkins, but she wasn't giving us any more than that. And I actually linked it to Royal Leamington Spa. She come from Royal Leamington Spa, and she had some form of power through her dad that was given an Earl Jenkins of something as well by the with that area. But the next morning, Henry found, after a bit of research, he found one of the local shops near the library in Bromley was very well known in the area. It was called Jenkins. Jenkins General Store.
Wow. Which
I thought was quite interesting. Couldn't find too much more about it, but I was having K2 hits, and then if we had about 10 minutes left, we'd spent all this in the small, but bear in mind, we're talking about the smallest room in the whole building. We spent all our time there. We missed the grandest bit of it all. So for the last 10 minutes, we flew over to the other bit in our first group, and we had a clear whistle. I said, Spirit, can you whistle? And everyone heard it in the group. It was like, it was clear, it was loud, and it went for ages. We all thought it was the windows. The wind was blowing. Yes, it was a bit windy. And yes, the windows are old. But as we all put it, if it was consistently windy, it would be consistently. And we looked out the window and the trees were blowing a hooligan. So it would be happening all the time. So yeah, it was very interesting, our first group. Very interesting. Right.
So you had equipment.
Yeah. No, we had REM pods and the EMFs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we used really, and that's all that really went off. We've got Joe in the chat, we've got Steve in the chat. Joe, you've sorted out the audio issue. Can't see you on YouTube. Was YouTube the issue? No, I was the issue, Joe. But I've got it sorted. Right, Sandra has put our first group, top floor, was very difficult. Myself and another guest got a lot to do with sick people and disabled children. We thought it had been used as a hospital. The volunteer staying with us said it had not been a hospital, which really confused us and threw us off track, but later found out it had actually been used as a hospital. I think Lee got something on his spirit box about first aid as well. So I would think it did feel very much children as well. A lot of children influence there.
A lot of libraries and community centres and places like that were used, weren't they?
Yes. They were.
Things like that.
And it was, I know that I think Lisa's group was doing Spirit Board first, and they couldn't really get the board to go. They got a few bits, but it did go in the end. Once again, I'm with Sandra. It was very, very hard to get a full story going. I had to find different ways. To be fair, I sort of turned into Simon for the night. And instead of going all the way to the end and working back, I didn't have that chance. I didn't know. I know it sounds really strange, but when I go into the places, when I'm in that story, I know what I need to say and I know all about the story. But this time I didn't. I had to find the story. I had to open up different different avenues for it, which was quite hard. But once I got it going and got it through and the guests started to, it was easier to sort of get that. I think it was like a lower vibration, a real low vibration. But I shall move swiftly on to my next group. And we was in the spirit board area, which was the base room. We used the base room as the spirit board area. And is all I will say is I probably have had one of the most clearest seances that we have ever done. We was with guests Claire and is it Vicky? Simon, is it Vicky? Claire's group. You had I can't think of the lady's name. Karen, that's it. Sorry, Karen, if you're watching. And we had Kirk Essex group as well. It started off, we did a seance, we all sat around the table. It started off very slowly. And we felt this energy grow within the room. The tables began to slightly move. Very slightly move. Nothing that really would we've all done seances where the tables have, let's take Sandwich Guild Hall for example. That table, let's take the one at Thaxted Guild Hall, Simon. That table lifted and went in the air. Now that wasn't happening at this point, and it didn't. It just moved, and at the end, well, halfway through, we was picking up this story of, and I think the story that we picked up on was linked to the Purfleet Museum. Now, not directly with the Purfleet Museum, but with to do with the boat that went down on its way. Remember, there's something to do with a boat. Someone might bring that through in a minute for us, where the boat went down and the children swam the prison, and it went down, didn't it? So,
well, in theory, that's not that far, is it?
No, it's directly opposite.
Yeah.
It's literally directly opposite. You could get a boat out and go across it.
Yeah.
So
that probably is, yeah. It could be.
And they did say that. And it was a little girl called Annabelle, of all the names that you want to hear on a ghost hunt. Right. So, yes. But, honestly, I had never heard such wonderful... And I mean, she was tapping... Well, she wasn't. She was banging the underneath of the table and answering questions for fun. Annabelle, is that you? Could you tap once for yes, twice for no? It was clear. It was absolutely clear. Can you do one tap? Can you do two taps? And it was as loud as that. Everybody in the room heard it, and everybody spoke. And she was underneath the table. She was scared of something, but she was willing to talk. And all of a sudden, this energy come pounding through the room. And for the first time in a long time, it was hard to control. It was absolutely hard to control. It wanted to jump into Andy. We had a really lovely guest that had worked with the spirit for the long time. He was a medium, and my God, he said that was hard because everyone was feeling it, because it was like a dagger. It was like it's like I'm fighting it. I'm trying to fight it, and I'm thinking, I don't think I'm going to fight this. And we had to find, and I don't know, there was another group that had a lady in blue or a lady in lavender, something along them lines. And that's what we had to find. And that was the little girl's mum, we believe, which was fantastic, which was really good. But yeah, I had never had responses like that. And it went on for at least 40 to 50 minutes of tapping. It never got weak. It never got... She was so happy to talk. And she would only listen. She would literally only listen to Ian. He was the guest that was there. Only listen. Everything he asked, she responded to. It was amazing. It sheer was amazing. And then what... So that was our second group. Sandra is here. Our second group was middle floor. We had EMF responding to our questions. Kim used her ears, and although slow to get going, Kim's responses were spot on. The bell was put in the doorway and was going off periodically. Tony's daughter was very uneasy sitting around the table. I think you mean Tony's. I don't know who's Tony's daughter. I think you mean Sue's daughter. I think that's Sue Devlin. Sue Devlin. Tony's. Well, yeah, was feeling very But that, yeah. So yeah, the email, the EMF. We had good EMF responses up there as well. We definitely did. It was well working with EMF in the middle floor. It loved the EMF. And we didn't have the bell going off. We must admit, I didn't have the bell go off any time at all, Sandra. So you definitely got the bell working, but I never had anything go off with the bell. So what was it? I'm just trying to sort of relive myself a little bit, to be fair. but yeah, it was very. Yeah, I was very much buzzing after that second group, because I think it was one of them. You know, we get that moment of wow, what I've just even everything that you chase for, everything that you look for, we got it at that moment.
It doesn't matter if anything happens before or after it, really. If you get a good moment like that, does it?
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
it was just how clear it was. It was just how steady it was, and how there was no effort in it, and it weren't just like a little. It was loud. It was clear. It was so precise. It wasn't even when we was talking, and you could hear it. It went a little bit quiet sometimes when she was trying to do the 2 knocks for 2. Well, I think it's taking a lot of energy, but I also think we never give enough time between questions, because we was all so excited within that moment. I think we just wanted to keep asking her questions. And then the table just went bang, all of a sudden just closed together. Then we actually asked the spirit to put the table back together again, and it was great. We never even got round to doing spirit board. Kurt Essex was brilliant, because like we was all saying, like this energy. I'm calling him Kurt Essex because that's what his handle is on social. So that's how I know him as, or Essex Kurt. And it was funny. He did make me laugh, because we were saying this energy is like pretty, not malevolent, it's a bit too far, but it was angry, it was violent, and it was coming like if it went through you, you would know it. And Kurt was going, come on then, I'll channel you, I'll fight you, I'm not scared of you. And I'm thinking, oh my God, please do not let this energy go through him, let it come through someone. Even Andy did really well to hold it back. Andy did extremely well to hold it back. Jane said was quite quiet on the top 4, seemed like we were chasing the spirit around, had a book pushed over and a cross and some interesting comments, did feel as though there were children up there too. So a book pushed over though.
That's quite
Had
good.
that's massive. That is really good. So yeah,
Oh, yeah, well, that is good. Yeah.
that was that. Yeah, I would say that is quite strong. But I will go on to my third group. Sure, it's a bit of a rushed one going through, but I'll try and just recap everything. Now, we did top floor was just a little area, had 2 little bits. We didn't really use the other bit. It looked like it had sort of, to me, it felt, you know, like the old mangle that you paper pressed or something like that in it and things like that. So that's where we was. We sat down. We all just sat there. I thought I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna have sort of like an old-fashioned bit of ghost hunting. I thought I'm not gonna match what we had in the second group, so I thought I'm not gonna try and even fight it. I thought there's no point in trying to fight it. So is what I did is I put a cross. You know, we've got wooden crosses in the middle of the table. And spirit come in, and we felt it, because patches of people, members of the group, were going freezing cold, and I mean freezing. It wasn't cold in that room, it was quite mild, and then all of a sudden they say I'm okay now, but it moved to the next person and the next person. We was trying to debunk the drafts, but there wasn't. Sam stood by the door, and he said, please tell me there's someone outside, because he's just seen people moving across the doorway. And the more you looked at the door, the more you saw it. But every time you looked out the door, something would happen inside the room. Every time you did something inside the room, something was outside the door. It was really playing silly buggers. It was like a bit of like chasing, like Jane would put, chasing it around.
Yeah.
I put a cross on the table. I put stood up a cross on the table, and it flew. It pushed over, but it happened when we was all moving around, so quite easy to debunk.
It fell over or it flew?
No, it fell over on the table. It went ba-bank. It flew on the table, and we were all at first because we was all moving our chairs around and things like that. And then we stood the cross back up again, and we all moved around again. That cross never went over. That cross did not move at all, which was quite amazing. And it did it again as well. But people were watching it wobble. People were watching the cross wobble on the table, because you wasn't never in pure darkness, because always emergency exit lights, and the emergency exit lights were quite bright. And that was quite good. But we used the spirit box, the Essex Ghost Hunters, bit of plug-in, and an Essex Ghost Hunters made spirit box, which was in the middle of the table. I ramped it up, the radio sweep, and it said all our names. It called us a few choice words as well. It gave us names. And people were asking questions. It was saying yes, it was saying no. So yeah, the spirit box, we left, and it can be a bit tedious, the spirit box. If you're not tuned to it, it can drive you a bit insane. Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. But it was on for about 40 minutes.
Oh, God.
But, Paul, you heard words clearly talking to us. It was saying names. It was saying their name. It was giving us dates. It was quite fascinating. And then all of a sudden, the hand dryer went off in the toilet. And we was like, what is that? The hand dryer's going off in the toilet. And Sam said, someone's just walked through the toilet to get up there to put it on. So I thought, that's okay. Not a problem. Debunked straight away. And I said, Sam, just go out there and double check, please. Because no one should be up here. It should just be us. He said, but there's no toilet out there. No toilet. So he opened the door, looked, no toilet. No toilet. So there was no hair. There was no toilet. So I thought, okay, bit strange. So where was the noise coming from? And it wasn't till we was packing up, me, Henry, Mikey and Sam went out through this door, and there was a toilet up at the top of the stairs. But it was locked. The toilet was locked. So I run straight back downstairs and went to the woman. I said, anyone can get into that toilet? She said, it's not our toilet. It's a community hub's toilet that are different keys. We can't open that one. They have it for a separate night.
Wow.
And the hand dryer went off in that toilet. And it was coinciding with the same thing as what Sam was seeing. Which was quite... He saw a shadow. You know, like the what do you call them, doors? You know, like they have to have a certain name. Offices have to have them and schools have to have them. You get the door and you get the bit of glass that goes down it, don't you? So you can see in and see out. Observation glass, whatever it's called. But you could see through it, and he said it blocked out the whole light. He said it was a full shadow went across that, and the more it was, it just didn't. It come from nowhere, because it sort of come up the stairs, and they were zigzag stairs. You come to the door, you turned, and you went through our door, so you couldn't go any further. It was a wall. It was a brick wall. So it walked from the brick wall into the toilet. It wasn't coming from another room. It wasn't coming up the stairs or across the stairs. It couldn't get anywhere. It just was very bizarre. So yeah, that was my third session Here we go. I'm going to read some comments coming in now, guys. This is Sandra. Our third group was in the base room. We had started with the board. We got a lot of names coming through. It was a bit confusing as the spirit wasn't very clear. Names of people on the board and couldn't accept the messages. However, I found out that the message were very clear from another member of the group, but didn't want to say anything at the time, but he confirmed he could take the name and the message. The table tipping was slow, but did move a little. Jason Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
In that spirit board session, Sandra, I had someone come through for me. I knew the name and the spirit said he was a mate of mine. Weirdly, I was driving to the event. I said to him, if you can let me know that you are still around, that would be great. Although the message didn't make sense. Which, you know, that's great. That's a lovely story.
Yeah.
Do you know that? I think that's lovely.
Yeah.
Because someone's
if you're
asked
asking for a sign when you go there from that particular person and his name comes through, and he hasn't told no one at the event about it, you know, that's
Yeah, I tell
all you
you.
want, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I just think that's brilliant. I genuinely do think that's brilliant. I love that. I absolutely love that. I mean, yeah, because that just proves spirit listen in the most weirdest ways. And I do believe Jason may have been a skeptic. You know, I'm prejudging there, and I shouldn't prejudge, but I'm sure Jason will let me know.
Prejudge.
But yeah, you know, it was a very different event. I think I was very apprehensive going there, and it wasn't due to spirit. It's because I couldn't find anything when I was trying to do. I was a bit of skeptical. So hopefully we may have just changed you a little bit there, Jason. We might have just changed you a little bit. I was very.
Might mean something.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah, actually, don't dismiss that message.
Keep it banked. Just
Yes.
keep it banked.
That's what I would say.
I've lost my chain of thought now.
You're apprehensive going there.
Yes, and I was only apprehensive for the sheer fact is that when I was trying to, the tickets didn't. Not to say the tickets didn't sell because we was a sellout on the last day. It got to the last day and it was a sellout. Okay, I was very apprehensive because when I was trying to do the social media side of it for the week to try and find pictures of it, there was nothing. And I could only find a certain amount of pictures. And I'm thinking, no one's seen this place. No one did a site visit. We just went for it. And then I'm thinking,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Investigated.
I don't think it has. I don't think it has because she said she doesn't have many people in.
That could also do it as well because it could be the same vein as what you're going in there apprehensive. Could be the same for the spirit because they're probably thinking, what the hell's going on here? It's probably the first time they've been called forward. Think about it.
I feel that, Simon. I generally did, and I definitely felt. I don't get too flustered. I get flustered at the beginnings events, but I knew obviously we had a time restraint. We only had half hour before our guests were arriving, probably only 15 minutes to get set up, all the equipment out, everything sorted, everything in place. I'm thinking, I just don't think I'm going to get this sorted. And I'm thinking, what happens if I haven't got enough areas? What if I can't do this? We've got a full laden guests, and I'm thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do. So that was on my mind. And when we got there, it was like, okay, I've got 3 areas, I can work with that. And everything started to I sort of come back to the here and now. Obviously, we've got a fantastic team around us that, you know, Sandra, all the other Kim, Maz, Jay, all the others started to sort of set up the equipment. Mikey started to run it upstairs. Henry started to run the equipment upstairs. Steve started to start all the kettle and all that going for us and setting up everything. So it was all fantastic, and we actually got off on time. It was just one of the team members that was late, and that was Lee. Lee was late because he decided to go to the Woolwich Ferry. Instead of coming across the bridge, he decided to go to the Woolwich Ferry, and the Woolwich Ferry wasn't working. And Old School Raver 72. I think that's Jay. I'm not too sure. I felt that the spirits there had never been communicated with before.
Exactly.
And Russ, we had to find our way out of Morrison's car park twice. And we stopped at Morrison's to pick up the milk and all that. And you couldn't go round it just kept taking in a circle. We went past the same thing twice. Very, very bizarre place, Erith. Very bizarre place. I don't think I'll be going there anytime soon, but I'm an Essex boy. We don't like Kent and the other side of the water, so I don't mind. But all in all, for me personally, and I know it's been a very... Yeah, it is Jay. I thought it was. It is Jay. Old School Raver 72 is Jay. I have to sort of remember the names now, don't I? But yeah, I know it was a pretty split, what do you call it? Unbalance with the team. I think it was hard work in places. But personally... And the rest of the team will shoot me down. I know they will, but personally, it was one of my best so far. It was one of my best.
It does happen like that though, and sometimes Spirit ain't always going to play ball. They're not always going to play ball, and you may sit there for an hour and a half in a group. This is what people don't realise. You know, they think we can call it to boot. You know. Get Spirit working. You can't always get Spirit working.
No, that's correct.
Doesn't always happen.
But I find it always happens like that. You know, you'll come down, you're like, where are we next? Right, we're there. And the team come back from where you're going to go and they go, oh, it was amazing. We've had this. We'll go in there and it'll be dead. Or vice versa, you know, we'll come back and go, oh, we had this. And then they'll go up there and then nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of it depends on who's in your group, not just team-wise, but guest-wise.
Yes.
Something obviously in whoever's in that particular group is drawing whatever spirit forward.
So I'm just going to go back, okay? I'm just going to go back because Jay obviously was in the first group. Jay said table tipping in the first session was brilliant. He said it was brilliant. So, Jay, could you just elaborate on that or just send it to the group just so I can give feedback to everything? What caused it? Let's have a look. Let's Stuart. We all love Stuart. Let's see what he's got to say. Please don't take this as a dismissal of what you believe in. We all have respect each other's opinions, I hope. However, I can't quite square the circle where there is interaction with objects, i.e. moving things or being thrown or knockings. For example, the spirit board, table tipping, etc. We have a human interaction. Again, as I say, it's not a dismissal belief. It's my logical mind that can't quite resolve. Okay. I get what he's saying there.
Yeah.
I can get what he's saying there because...
Table tipping and spirit board, but objects moving. As in, if no one's near it, it's different, isn't it? So you're saying with human influence, it can be that sort of...
Yeah, but as we've always said, though, even with not so much the table tipping, with the spirit board, okay, so you've got somebody subconsciously is pushing that glass, okay, for whatever reason. But is that spirit making that person subconsciously move that glass? to get a message for that person who they don't know. Well, at the end of the day, there you
And
go.
I've been in their room before where we're doing spirit board, and it's given a message to someone that ain't even on the board.
Exactly.
And
You know, that wasn't even part of the person on the board.
So people can say, "Oh yeah, but they're pushing and people are influencing." Yeah, I totally agree. It could happen, Stuart. But I think there's a spirit can also make people do that in a roundabout way. If you get what I mean, But I do get what Stuart's saying. I do get it.
yeah, but I'm a strong believer. That's my way of that's my logical thinking about spirit board. I generally do think spirit. I think it sends someone into a very light trance. I think it connects to that person who doesn't know they're pushing that glass. They won't know because they don't think they are. That spirit has connection. I think it goes with table tipping as well.
Table tipping, I've actually sat back and not deliberately not gone on a table to see and watch what happens. And I did it at, I can't remember the name of Bodmin Jow. Me and Ryan sat back and actually watched the table tipping session with Carol's brother on the table. And I was saying to him, look underneath. They're going to do it underneath. The table then went up like that, and nobody was doing it. It couldn't possibly. And that was the first time I believed in table tipping. I don't always believe in it, but then when I do see the table lift, how does that work? The table lifting on its own. Again.
I think it needs our energy. That's what I think it needs. I think it needs the people around there to make sure. No different to when you do a seance. The worst thing that people can do when you're doing table tipping is sit there in silence. It's because spirit need energy. You need to be able to generate energy. You know, when we was taught to do table tipping, you should be chanting, tip the table, tip the table, tip the table, and get everybody to start to do tipping the table. When you're doing a seance, when you've got, 20 people around a table, you've got enough energy there to start it to move. But you have to sort of get the energies flowing, You have to start saying, come on, spirit. They want you to be vocal. They want you to hear it. Stuart, you come on a lot of our events, and how do you say it? You're very skeptical, but you're still looking for it. You're still trying to prove that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's something that you like to do. You're trying to believe in the paranormal, which I think is brilliant. And I think one day, Stuart, we will get you to crack. I know we're going to get you to crack, Stuart. We know it. And I think it works on both cheeks here, Stuart. You don't offend us, and I hope we don't offend you. Because I think your logicness, and I do like it. That's
yeah,
my.
I
do like the fact
there's somebody there to pull it down when all around you is going, wow, is sometimes a good thing.
You think of how many years, when we first started, how many times that Adam did that.
Yeah.
Adam did that for us, and I think that's what you do need. That the thing is, every time that we take on a skeptical person within the group, they always end up being, with connecting with spirit. And you do need that person to just bring you down to earth quite easily. You need it to come down with a bump sometimes and just give us a bit of a logic brain. Because how many times, Simon, when we first started, we would walk around Cash's Well and we would get all excited over something, and Adam would just turn to us and say, look, you pair of brats, there's a fox over there.
Yeah, it was a badger. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I just...
But then on the flip side of that is, I've worked with Adam I can't remember where we were, the team of scientists, the Red Lion. And we were having a hard time. We were, it was me and Adam, it was only me and Adam, I think. We had 8 people, and all of a sudden, I'm thinking, how are we going to get this? We've got probably 6 or 7 people, non-believers. And then we got the smell of burning flesh, the fire. And even Adam smelled it. And once Adam had smelt it, I thought, right, now I can work it because he smelt it. Do you know what I mean? He's actually smelt something. He's actually smelt something. I've got it. The way we went, and it worked. It worked.
But this is what the events are there for. This is what we do. We try to prove life after death. You know, that's as simple as it gets. I'm not here, you know, and I will just carry on doing what I'm doing. I'm just going to go back to a quick questions, which are coming in order now. So Jay has put his table tipping session at the beginning. I felt the spirit of a caretaker or someone like that. He also had a dog, but he wasn't happy with us being there.
Yeah.
Could be why they didn't want to play ball.
Mm-hmm.
Stuart has put, it's because you're great hosts. He says, I totally respect your explanation, but to me, not for me. If a table lifted or hovered, great. That would convince him.
See, we've had that, though.
So, Stuart, be more open. Let it to be more open, my friend, and it'll happen.
Give it time. Just give it time. I dare say something will happen.
Yeah. But as I say, he comes on quite a few of our events. And to be fair, Stuart come to our very, very first seance evening. That was his first event with us, seance evening at Buers Hall.
Was it?
Yeah, I do believe it was. Now that would be a very hard introduction, and in a negative way on us, because everything that we did in that session, that opening session of the Victorian night, was the old school techniques: dowsing rods with touch, spirit balled with fingers, table tipping with hands. Now, going by what Stuart's just said there, doesn't believe that he could have believed that was one of us doing that. Yeah. But he's actually been to load more events after that. So that just proves to me that potentially we're not doing too bad. Do you know that? We're not doing too bad. And he's respecting us for doing what we are doing, and he's actually wanting something to happen. We've just got to work harder, that's all. I'll get him to levitate and get dragged through the halls then. But to be fair, that just sums up the night, to be fair. It was nice and close. It was 20 minutes home, across the water. Guess what? At 2 o'clock in the morning, the tunnel was shut. There was a diversion. You know?
No.
Yeah. I had to go. So... Stuart says, I do respect everybody and what we do, with a smiley face. Yeah, so if you come off of the roundabout, and I had to go up to Dartford turn off and come back on myself. So the Blue Water turning, the first Blue Water turning, you had to go across there towards Gatwick, turn around and come back down again. All right, it was only about 3-minute diversion, but still a pain in the arse at 2 o'clock in the morning. Jason Fitzgerald, this was my first event, and I must say that everyone was so friendly and nice. The event was well organised and inclusive. I look forward to coming to another event soon. However, you're so popular, you're all booked up.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, well, not unfortunately, fortunately. But yeah.
Well, saying that, quick plug, we only have 7 tickets left for all of our events this year. Out of 201 tickets, 201 that was released in September, we have 7 remaining. Only 7 tickets remaining.
Well, we might do some forest walks and that.
I think we're going to have to. I generally do think we're going to have to. I know that we've got people want to do another Victorian night.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
So, you know, there might be something. Keep eyes out, guys, and see what is out there. But there will always be. Follow us on all the social media platforms, guys. Make sure that you're following and subscribing to everything, because everything will come that way around. So yeah, that was the night. I know that we've asked the guests for questions, but I don't often get to do this because I was the only one there that on this chat. Mr. Paranormal and Paul and Mr. Psychic Si, have you got any questions that you want to ask?
Would you do it again?
No.
Why?
Because I don't want to say it on here. I think I will say it because that's wrong of me. I have to be transparent. If you're asking me as a paranormal investigator, yes. If you're asking me as a paranormal group that has to get people to book events, no. I think for the price that we paid, we've had better. Not in the fact of spiritual activity, because you can't guarantee that.
No,
you can't put price, you can't put money towards spiritual activity. But I for spiritual, absolutely. Because I just said at the beginning of the show, it's been my best night.
Yeah.
And that's what I say. But as Essex Ghost Hunters head on, the price just wasn't.
It was expensive.
It was expensive, and that's it though. That's it, because the activity that I had was second to none. I couldn't. It's in my top 5 by a long shot. I don't think I've had better for a long while. I think the table tipping at Sandwich Guild Hall, Paul, you was with me in that group, wasn't it? That was there. I think the very, very first time we did Shepton Mallet would probably be the very up there.
Yeah.
I think...
What about that with the Sandwich Guild Hall? Wasn't that where the chair went as well?
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
Yeah. No. But yeah, it would be definitely I think I'd have to move that into top 3 for me, just because of how every session that I had absolutely pinged off the bat, and I absolutely loved it. But if you're asking me with an Essex Ghost Hunters head as co-founder, co-owner, no. Lest their prices come down, I would go again.
And 15-minute setup's a bit of a push as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but then we'd have to adjust it. If that's my fault. I didn't check the booking form, so that's not. Stuart said, "Well, I'm retiring this year, so unlucky for you. I'll be coming to more."
Good. No, it's good.
Do you know what? I should have said it, right? Stuart never told me that, but I knew he was retiring. I knew he was retiring because something in my head said to me, the only way you might get Stuart is by giving him a bit of information that he hasn't told anybody. And in my head, I said he's going to retire soon, and he's just put he's retiring.
Should
And I
have
never.
said it.
Yeah, but to be
He
fair,
ain't going to believe you now.
no, I know that. I know that. But it's not that it wasn't that time or place. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't. I'm not in a reading. I'm not doing that sort of thing. It was just in my head as like, what can I do to prove? And something went to me. He's going to need a bit of information that no one else would know. And it was in my head that he's retiring soon. And that's just come on the screen. That's just weird. Well, it isn't weird, is it? That's just how spirit works. I'm a reader for a goddamn living, so I shouldn't question it like that. But it's do 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 do. But no, it was for me good event. I know Sandra wouldn't want to go back, and a few other team. It was hard to get going, but I do feel that you had to go to different places and have to use different energies and different frequencies. And that's what I found. I had to go to places that tested me. You know, there was only one room that hit me like a steam train, and that was the first room. The rest was like, okay, you're going to make me work here. You're going to really make me work, because you're not telling me sweet bugger all. And it's very interesting to do with what Jay said about the caretaker and someone not being there for his first group, my second group, because we was both in the same room for that one. And the anger that I was feeling, and I didn't speak to Jay prior to that. I didn't know that. So that's interesting. That's interesting. So we're not going to get on to the subject of what YouTube, because I think that's got to be a whole show in itself.
Yeah.
Okay, so for your benefit,
I do think that could be, thinking about it, Paul, that could be the next disclosure item about them scientists, couldn't it? Thinking about it. That could be
I don't know, because I think it was coming up for a while anyway. And this, mind you, it's over the last couple of years, isn't it? So,
but we'll leave that to another show, yeah.
No, we'll leave it till next week. Then I can't be moaned at for saying, what's the subject? It will be disclosure and the missing scientists, because there's got to be something to do with that.
Are they missing, or just
they died?
Some are missing, though. Some are still missing because no body has been. Some are missing.
That's right,
some are deceased. But we are getting a lot of ufologists within the field are dying. We had another sad one, didn't we? We had another one yesterday that passed away, I believe, as well. Another famous UFO.
Yeah, what's going on now?
Yeah.
Like I say, next week's show.
So, yeah, for some strange reason, Sai has subtitles. I think that's a Facebook thing, Stuart. That's not a me. I haven't enabled. That's a sub. That is a. You can click that. You've obviously clipped a button.
Oh, me?
All of us. There's a. If you watch on Facebook, if you can click a button so you can watch the subtitles come along the bottom.
Yeah, it's probably good for me, Stuart.
I think it's, you know, if you want to watch something sneakily. But I got sent a question in from somebody the other day regarding paranormal first aid. That's what he called it. He is what would you call it? A caretaker to one of the venues that we do. Okay, he had a team in there working away, and one of the team went into trance-like state. Okay, and there was no one there really to help out, but this guy took it on himself. Never done anything like this before, and he just said he took her out of the room. He sat her down and just spent time talking to her till she brought herself around. And he said, did I do the right thing? And I said, you did do nothing wrong. He said, I said, all you have to do is take him out of the area. As you know, when you feel comfortable to take him out of the area. Try to sit them near grass or dirt or ground them very quickly. And he said, okay. He said, but I was talking to her. I said, that's fine. I said, you did. Don't think you did. Did she come back wrong? Did she go back in? He said, yeah, she was fine after about 20 minutes, half hour. So he said, is that something that we should all be doing? I said, well, it's different. For everybody's different. But I said, just remember, when someone goes into trance, just be careful of using their name. Okay, that's all. If someone does get taken over or anything like that, we was always taught not to use their name until you felt comfortable, or to bring them back, because you don't want to snap them out too quickly. Okay, they'll probably bring in their self back lightly anyway, but bringing them back just a little bit easier would be better. So don't use their name. So we've all been in situations in the paranormal. We've all, you know, we've been running events for 25 years now, we've all been in situations where things have got tough. People have got affected. For me, it still happens today. We have a team member who works with me that can get taken over very easy, managing to control it more. But Simon, I'm putting it to you first. In that situation, would you have done anything different?
No, I'd have taken them out. I'd have made sure they knew who they were. That I think is very important, because I've seen people come out and then totally trick me, if you like. They've told me they're all right. And they ain't all right. They give me their name, and then all of a sudden they're back in it. So I now tend to spend a little bit longer with them, make sure I get their address, make sure I get their name of their road, make sure they're fully out of it before they're going to go back and do any other work. That's what I would say.
I think that's a valid point. I think that's a valid point. I did miss that.
I think you can be tricked into going back too early, because I've seen it. It's happened to me. And I thought, why didn't I do that a bit longer?
Honestly, I'm with you, Simon. I genuinely feel the same. What would you call it? I'm normally sort of the first responder for our group. It's normally my name that comes through the radio.
That's exactly what I do. I pick the radio up, Russell, right? You get many in there, mate.
I always the favourite one I ever had was at Charlton House. At that moment, Paul was with me at that time, and it was proper, because Paul literally had the camera and he was running behind me with the camera. We was flying down the stairs, the radio was going, and I think it was a scream, wasn't it? It was a scream that was over the radio or something. We had to get to the bottom floor.
I think probably another one was Slough Fault, where you had gone as well. And I tell you what, that really tested me to my limit. Really tested me to my limit, because I had you'd gone. You'd absolutely gone. You were spouting Latin. And I had two other people in the group, and I think I said to Sandra at the time, for God's sake, Sandra, please don't you go, because if you go, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. And that took some working back. That really did take some working back.
That's an extreme example, though.
It was a very extreme example.
It's not something that's going to happen on every event.
There was two newbie people with us that day, and
Really,
you know what? I've never seen them again.
No, I have to agree. No, but that's it. It is one of them things. You have to sort of be aware of it. It's just about you feeling comfortable, and as Simon said, it is making sure everyone is aware, making sure that they know their name. We always ask their name and address.
Yeah. If you don't know their address, go and get somebody that does know their address.
Yeah.
Because they could spout off anything to you.
Well, let's go to the most famous case within Essex Ghost Hunters of someone being taken over. Sandra, was in the chat when she lost a guest at Shepton Mallet. So
she'll never live it down.
Yeah, she'll never live. But that was another. I knew what you meant, Stuart. Don't panic. I knew what you meant. So Sandra had a guest that got overtaken by, and to be fair, it could have happened to anybody. It just happened.
Mez was to blame for that as well, not just Sandra.
Well, I'd never in a million years have I ever had a radio call over there. We've lost a guest. Can everyone keep an eye out? I've never had to shut down an event when have the lights turned on for everyone looking for a guest. And if it wasn't for the what would you call it? The volunteer curator of the night, creator, that didn't let her out the door. And even when we found her, she didn't know what she was. She didn't know her. Well, she did know.
She was going home to Shepton Mallet.
Well, she said, I'm going home. I said, where's home? Around the corner. I said, no, it isn't, because I knew where she lived.
Yeah.
You know, she lived in Essex. So around the corner in Shepton Mallet, it's not around the corner. Sandra said, I didn't lose her, not completely.
I mean, fair play to the curator then for stopping her, because that could have turned.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It took her a long time. Took her a long time to come back. Jay said it was, you said that to me, sire. You know, I think that was Slough fault. At Slough
Yeah,
fault.
it might have been, yeah. Yes.
But yeah, the back to Shepton Mallet was pretty intense. But then again, look what happened.
Scotty T got taken out.
Yeah.
All,
But then, but you asked me to make noise in front of him. Clap, because he didn't like the noise, did he?
Yes.
Yeah, because you come round the corner, shook him out of it. But what made me laugh with that, when you said about getting the address, you said, what's your address? And he spilt out his address with the postcode, and you looked at me and went, is that right? And I just know how to get there.
But I know there's not much that you can do in that situation. You just have to make sure that they're back, they're grounded, and they're back to some form of normality. Normally, 9 times out of 10, a good one is if someone has gone into sort of some form of trance or overtaken. Sugar is always a good, because they're going to have lack of sugar. They are going to be lack of sugar because it's going to take from them. So yeah, there's just a lot of things. But other things, sort of regarding spiritual first aid and things like that. To be fair, I've dealt with. We've had, remember the marks.
Yeah.
We've had, where was the last one? Gressingham, was that? Gressingham? No, Ashwell prison, when people getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, within 24 hours they go. Scratches.
Yeah, honestly, guys, we've got 7 tickets available. Please don't
we're having an influx of refunds coming in. But I think we did, didn't we? We had it at Thaxted, I think, as well, with people getting marks or somewhere.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
there was, yeah. It's very short-lived, though, that.
Yes.
Usually.
Physical is short-lived.
Yeah, it is.
Physical marks, very
Yeah.
short-lived.
Gone. Yeah.
And I think, remember the Wales cottage, when it drew blood on my chest?
Yeah.
And I woke up with...
And Slough Fault across...
Yeah. I even woke up with blood literally on my white T-shirt, but within the next day it was gone. So...
You know what? So I'm just thinking, Slough Fault, it was after...
What was after?
Was that after the seance that went badly wrong?
No. It was at the begin. It was the end. That was at the end. Jane says, I trust you and your team to sort any issues. I don't have the same confidence with other teams I've been on with Hunts. It is. I find it one of the things that, it is one thing that I pride ourselves on, I think, is looking after guests. And as we say, if you feel uncomfortable before, you do not leave until you feel comfortable. If you feel uneasy, let us know.
Don't do anything you don't want to do. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. For example, if you don't want to go on the board, nobody's going to force you to go on the board. If you don't want to go on a seance, nobody's going to make you go on a seance.
Exactly.
If you want to be a bystander all night, be a bystander all night. You paid your money, you bought the ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're not going to get a message.
No, it doesn't. As you think of all them years ago at Harwich Fault, where that spirit on the board actually called you over from another group.
Yeah.
It physically spelt Simon's group to come over, which was, and that's what it did. So yeah, it is. It's definitely not a common occurrence. But letting spirit come nearer to you is definitely a common occurrence, because spirit will try a lot of things to try and get into that
Yeah.
sort of form and that sort of way. So just be aware if you see people that don't, we always ask our guests to be vocal. That's a key. If they're not vocal, then you may see I'm very
get out what you put in, don't you?
yeah, but I'm also very aware of where spirits stand in the room. I can sort of know they come behind that person, and I know they're behind that person. So in my head, I'm always sort of just like, I've got to be aware of them. Must be aware of them all the time. But sometimes they can just walk straight through people, and that's enough to make people wobble and feel uneasy.
Yeah. It's
Jane was on, this is not our event, but Jane, on one event, I got left to make sure that the person I was with was okay after they were attacked. They just left her to deal with it, which I think Jay has also had that experience with another group as well in his early stage, when they left him to do a spirit board session.
Yeah.
So
Really, but at the end of the day, it's how they choose to run their events, and that's,
yeah, that's how it chooses. That's how it chooses. It's not the way that we choose our event.
No, it isn't. And I wouldn't change how we do it.
Definitely not. Absolutely. I think
that's more because you've got respect for spirit as well.
I've got you immense, actually.
Yeah.
Because to let people just do whatever they want willy-nilly, to me that's a bit of a lack of respect for spirit, as well as the guests.
Yeah, agree.
Jason's asked a question: why does spirit attack people?
Good question.
Why do people attack other people?
I think it looks for a weaker link to get into.
Prove a point. Prove a point.
Yeah. It will attack people that are sometimes vulnerable. I think if you go into a ghost hunt and with your defences not down, but I suppose your defences are down, and
I just generally think it's just like,
it'll attack.
Just like what Paul said, I'm sort of as well. That might be what they did in their everyday life. You look at Stillhouse Lane with the Peaky Blinders that we come across. They wanted to hurt us because they didn't like us from where we was.
Yeah, they didn't.
So
Cockneys.
Yeah, exactly
Cockneys.
that. So yeah, I think it's just a very. I think it will also attack to get attention, Sandra.
Yes, yeah, and
No.
because it can is another way I would look at it. Because it can.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, look what I can do.
Jason, bad people in life and bad people in death.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is through. When I say attack, that's a very broad word for what we call a spiritual attack. All I will say, Jane has put, all I will say, laugh out loud, ow.
I'm sure Jane won't mind me saying, when I found him in that cupboard, after Jay had put him in that cupboard, that's the first time I thought, how the hell am I going to deal with this one? I didn't know, but yeah.
All right, guys, we have come towards the end of the show, but we are going to leave the show with something a little bit different tonight. We are going to be played out by a song tonight. I don't know if I can get it to work, but I'm going to add a song that I actually quite like. So we're going to be played out by that. I'm going to add it to the source. I don't quite...
This could go disastrously wrong.
This could go disastrously wrong, but it may not. So if we just say we're going to stay put, guys, because we will come back on after this because I think it's quite good. So I just need to add a source. I need to add the local file. And then we'll do this. Okay. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm just going to ask everybody to say... we'll be back after this. Guys, can we just have a bit of silence, please? Because I'm going to play a song for you. Because I think it's really good. So we'll see you in a bit, guys.
Yeah, yeah. Russ got a map in the glove box, marked up with a red string and a grin. Psychic Simon says it's coming when the wall starts humming again. Paranormal Paul at the window, Joe Blunt with a torch and a prayer. 4 sets of eyes on the dark road, like something strange is waiting there. If the moon tilts low, we're already gone. If the truth is buried, we're digging on. Russ, Psychic Simon, Paranormal Paul, and Joe Blunt. Russ, Psychic Simon, we don't quit what we hunt. Truth in the clouds, truth in the mud. Russ, Psychic Simon, Paranormal Paul, and Joe Blunt. Boots in the field by the cornrows, coffee cold in a scratched up cup. Paul says, listen to the silence. Joe says, tell me why that light shut up. Russ sees tracks by the fence line. Simon reads the air like a sign. Every strange little broken detail turns into a spark in his mind. If the clock runs out, we don't back down. If the sky cracks open, we're still around. Russ, Psychic Simon, Paranormal Paul, and Joe Blunt. Russ, Psychic Simon, we don't quit what we hunt. Truth in the clouds, truth in the mud. Russ, Psychic Simon, Paranormal Paul, and Joe Blunt. Oh, yeah. One flash over the water, one shape in the trees. Simon says, you felt it. Paul says, there it is, freeze. Joe Blunt laughs, we found it. Russ says, now look up. 4 guys, 1 question, and we're not giving up. Russ, Psychic Simon, Paranormal Paul, and Joe Blunt. Russ, Psychic Simon, we don't quit what we hunt. Truth in the clouds, truth in the mud. Russ, Psychic Simon, Paranormal Paul, and Joe Blunt. Woo! Truth in the clouds, truth in the mud. Russ, Psychic Simon, Paranormal Paul, and Joe Blunt.
And that is the ending of the show, guys. Thank you ever so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you liked our song. I will try to make sure next week that it's added to the system, and I think that everybody will be able to hear it, including Paul and Si, because I think it only runs my end as it's a source, but I'll try and put it into the stream, and we might be able to all hear it, because I think we're going to be playing out with it every week, because I absolutely love that song. So thank you ever so much. I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. I hope you've been able to hear us tonight as well. We should be a lot more clearer. So it's good night from me.
Good
It's
night.
good night for me.
It's good night from him. Thank you ever so much, Paranormal Paul and Psychic Si. I know it was a bit of a different show for you because you had to listen to me.
Fine.
That's good.
So,
Right. All good.
Jay has put Simon in the Mud reminds me of Wales. Purple face cry. A lot of thanks coming in. So, guys, thank you ever so much. Paranormal Paul, as always, thank you. And Mr. Psychic Si, thank you very much. And we'll see everybody next week.